ask for help politely, remember to smile, remember to say thank you. People will almost bend over backwards to help you. Hi, I'm Nani, and welcome to Chronicles of Nani. This is my weekly vlog where I talk about my life living with progressive MS and in a wheelchair and still getting the most that I can out of life. It's also my cyber coffee shop. Today's coffee is hazelnut coffee, which is wonderful stuff, and it's in my Wisconsin coffee mug. And the cool thing about the Wisconsin trip, this goes back to a vlog I did some time ago that was be proud that when you could, you did. My friend did a newsletter called The Great Indoors about indoor soccer, and it had national distribution, especially in cities where there were indoor soccer teams. I had gone to a Milwaukee Wave game, and we were in the press box. Everybody in the press box knew my friend who was the editor of the newsletter, and he introduced me to the sports beat writers and for newspapers and for TV stations, radio stations, everything in Milwaukee. As he introduced me, just my name was enough that people were shaking my hand. I read your column. Oh my God, you're a great writer. I wrote a column called A View from the Seats. I was a season ticket holder for the Detroit Rockers, which was indoor soccer in Detroit. I did a monthly column in the newsletter, talking about things that I knew as a season ticket holder. The view on the field, what's going on, different events that season ticket holders get to go to. So you get to meet and know members of the team and see things that are going on a little bit behind the scenes too. I also got to meet different people in press areas at different things that I would go to with them. Milwaukee was especially neat for me because I'm in what was actually a pretty big city for indoor soccer. Indoor soccer is 100% American sport that is struggling to survive and has been since I was a Detroit Lightning fan as a child. And the leagues keep changing and they buy out teams that are left from other leagues, and things keep changing, and there is an indoor soccer league now. No team that's nearby, but the Milwaukee Wave is still part of that league. My not so much inner child, but my inner person jumping up and down. They know me. They read my column and they know me. I'm someplace I've never been before. And these big important people in the sports world know me just by my name and my writing. And while I'm jumping up and down inside, I'm of course carrying out my professional image on the outside. But it was a fantastic trip just for that. What I really wanted to talk about today was being an ambassador. If you have a chronic illness, if you're in a wheelchair, if you use other assistive devices, be they a walker or crutches or even just a cane, so that you can actually get around. You have choices. You can choose to, it's too much trouble and I'm just going to stay away from other people and be by myself and let myself feel sorry for myself for being in the situation that I'm in. Or you can go out and be around people, and you can definitely present the I'm in this rough position and the world owes me something, and I want what I'm owed by everybody else. Or you could go out and be around people and treat them like they're just like you are. That you happen to be in a wheelchair, you happen to be using a walker, or you happen to be using some other device, you move slower, but you're just like everybody else. You laugh, you smile, be polite to other people. That's going to get you a lot farther than acting like a total stranger owes you something. Treat other people the way you want to be treated. And it sounds like, wow, this is something that you tell a child. It's something you should live with the rest of your life and learn as a child. And don't forget what you've learned. I have met a lot of people that have chronic illnesses, that use different assistive devices. Everything from a cane, walker, crutches, up through using a wheelchair, manual wheelchair, a power wheelchair. What a lot of people don't realize is that when you see somebody in a power wheelchair, it's not a get out of the way because they're going to run you over type thing. Although sometimes it might feel that way. And some people do have that attitude about it too. Because once you've gotten to a power wheelchair, and people who are not using these type of devices don't realize that the insurance company isn't just going to say, we'll have a power wheelchair. The insurance company is going to say, let's go with the cheapest stuff first, and if you get to the point of where you really need the expensive stuff, so by the time that you see somebody in a power wheelchair, they've gone through so many different devices to help them to be able to move. With me, it was, no, I don't need help. I don't need this kind of help. And my doctor at the time was saying, why don't we look at getting you a handicap placard for your car? And I thought, no, I don't need that. And that's silly. Who's going to even believe a handicap placard in a Camaro? A few years before that, I'd actually gone to a quilt show with my grandmother, and we used her placard. We went to the quilt show, and we got back out of the quilt show and went to my car, and I had a ticket on my car. And the ticket was for illegal use of a handicap placard. And we went back in the quilt museum, and the quilt museum happened to be near beach in Michigan. And so we went in and we had to call the police, and they had to come back out and take a look at my car. And they're explaining, well, a lot of people will illegally borrow a grandparent's a handicap placard and stick it in their car so that they can get a better parking space to go to the beach. And I was actually in the parking lot for the quilt museum, and why they didn't stop it at the quilt museum and ask, does somebody who drives a red Camaro with the Michigan license plate, and find out if that person is actually in the quilt museum, at which point I could say, it's my grandmother's handicap placard. Meet my grandmother. Instead, they just made the assumption that red Camaro handicap placard, that doesn't match, and I got a ticket. They did rescind the ticket at that point. I had misgivings about having the handicap placard in a sports car. There was one time that I was coming out of the drugstore where I grabbed a cart because I didn't have to bring my walker, and it would have been really hard to shop with a walker anyway. But I could use the cart to help me balance and get through to pick up the things I needed. And I left the store with the cart and my single bag in the cart, and took it out to my car. And there were a couple of people that were just looking at my car and the handicap sticker, and they had that, the disgusted look on their face, until they saw me get to the car. And I took the bag out of the cart and put it in the car. And then I took the cart and put it up on the walkway in front of the car, and grabbed the car to pull me back over to where the door was so that I could open it and get in the car. Obviously not able to walk without the shopping cart. One of those people that had been looking at my car with such disdain grabbed the shopping cart and said, I'll take this back into the store for you, and asked, do you need any help getting into the car? And I said, no, I'm good, thank you. So there's definitely was the misgiving that once I got in the car, I could drive just fine because I was in a relaxed position that supported my back, and my legs were working fine. And when I got home, I'd been in the car long enough that I was able to pull myself up out of the car, grab my bag, and get back into the house. The whole judging a book by its cover thing. Do not look at the type of car and assume that they don't really need help. Because it's entirely possible that you could drive a nice car or even a sports car and still need help actually moving where you're not in the car. And that car could be the one thing that brings you joy. The truth is, if you get out there around other people and you smile and you are polite, and when you do need help, you could say, can you reach that for me? I can't quite reach that. And ask for help politely. Remember to smile. Remember to say thank you. That people will almost bend over backwards to help you, because there's that realization that when you are polite, that it's almost embarrassing for you to ask for help. And they give you so much credit for being out there and doing everything that you can do for yourself, that they want to help. You have a responsibility if you are using assistive devices if you have a chronic illness and it makes you move slow, to just let people know, I need a little bit of help. And if you do it politely and with a smile, they're going to be more willing and they're going to feel good about helping you out. So that's the end of being an ambassador and being the person that you want other people to be towards you is important. Don't sit at home by yourself and feel sorry for what's happened to you. But don't go out around other people like total strangers owe you something either. When you're out around other people, remember that a total stranger doesn't know your whole story. And you don't have to tell them your whole story. Just treat them with respect and dignity that you want them to treat you with. And most of the time, that's what you're going to get. I hope you got a little something, one way or the other, about if you need help. Kindness both ways goes a lot farther than attitude both ways. So I hope that you will see me next week. And thanks so much for joining me. And have a fantastic week.